Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Fanbase is a free-to-download, free-to-use, next-generation social media platform that allows anyone to have followers and subscribers on the same page. Fanbase was built through investment dollars from equity crowdfunding from the Jobs Act. People just like you helped build Fanbase, and we're looking for more people to help build Fanbase. We are currently raising $17 million in a Regulation A crowdfund on Start Engine. We've already crossed $2.1 million, but we're looking to raise more capital from people just like you that deserve the opportunity to invest in early stage startups without having to be accredited investors. So right now, I'd like you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase right now, today. And then use Fanbase to connect with friends, grow your audience, and be you without limits.
Today is Tuesday, November 28th, 2024. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. Well, the usual drama with Trump continues. And guess what? One of his own people literally was trying to charge a potential Treasury Secretary for access to him. They're a band of crooks. He's also proposing tariffs on Canada and Mexico. That, of course, could lead to hikes for everyday goods. But I thought that's why y'all didn't want to vote for Vice President Kamala Harris. Okay. Economist Morgan Harper will be joining us. A Florida judge has sentenced a white woman to 25 years in prison for fatally shooting her black neighbor through a locked door. Conditions at a Virginia Supermax prison are so bad that there are reports of inmates burning themselves to get away from the abuse. Black lawmakers have condemned the conditions at Red Onion State Prison. I'll talk to one delegate who is calling for immediate changes. In today's Marketplace segment, we'll talk to a doctor who has created a skincare line with black folks in mind. It's time to bring the funk. I'm Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, roll, y'all. It's
course, Donald Trump's promise to massively increase tariffs on goods from Mexico and Canada, as well as China, trust me, will impact your pockets. The orange convicts tariffs are retaliation for illegal immigration and crime and drugs coming across the border. Now, of course, he also claims that it is fentanyl that is coming across the border illegally, even though it's Americans who are bringing fentanyl actually across the border. Automobiles, automobile parts, agriculture products, electronics, mineral fuels and oils, plastics and plastic products, machinery and industrial equipment, aluminum and steel products. All of those things, of course, have an impact. Guess what? The folks at the Center for American Progress, they say that Trump's plan to increase tariffs on Canadian and Mexican goods by 25%, on Chinese products by 10%, will cost a typical American family some $1,300 a year. Joining us right now is Morgan Harper. Morgan, of course, is with the American Economic Liberties Project, joining us from Columbus, Ohio. So, with all these folks, Morgan, who voted for populism, they were angry with Biden and Harris when it came to inflation. They said that gas was too high and food was too high and all these things were too high. But this is what they voted for?
Well, as we know, it's not always clear what exactly voters are looking for based on how they cast their votes. I mean, there's no denying that prices are very high for a lot of people. That's a fact. I think it's also important for people to know that in this tariffs discussion, a lot of the tariffs that we saw actually happened during the Biden administration, but they were different than what Trump is talking about here, and that they were strategically placed tariffs that were paired with industrial policy, meaning an investment in building up domestic production. What Trump is talking about is pretty much, and what he was talking about during the campaign, is just across the board tariffs. We're just going to put tariffs on every good. And as you mentioned, that is very likely to increase prices because you aren't pairing it with any sort of domestic policy agenda that's going to make cheaper goods available here in the U.S. And so that is pretty irresponsible and should, and most likely will, lead to price increases if he actually follows through with it.
And of course, now you have all of his supporters go, no. This is all about negotiating. He's threatening these things in order to get them to do something about illegal immigration. But they're already doing things. And the Mexican president dropped a letter making it perfectly clear how things are going to stand between the country. And so it's just interesting just watching all of this play out.
It is really interesting. And like you said, I mean, a lot of if the concern is immigration, fentanyl, well, the highest percentage of people who are bringing that across the border are actually American. And so if you want to address immigration issues, then you should use immigration policy to do that. If you want to talk about what's going on with drug imports, we should talk about how to address that as an issue. But bringing tariffs as a tool into trying to solve problems that have nothing to do with trade policy is pretty wild suggestions, and again likely to have some detrimental impacts on all of us as consumers. I would also note a couple of other developments that we've seen over the last few days and weeks since the election with the transition. I mean, one, the person that Donald Trump is recommending and nominating to lead the Commerce Department, to be the Secretary of Commerce, he's not just nominating that person to lead Secretary of Commerce, he's actually going to combine that position, or suggesting to combine that position with the responsibility that traditionally would fall with the U.S. Trade Representative, which is an office within the Commerce Department, but usually a different person. And the person, Lutnick is his last name, that he's suggesting to nominate, is very much a Wall Street guy, not somebody that seems like he would be on the side of trying to use things like trade policy to actually, again, boost domestic production, help American workers, try to keep prices low. It seems like his top priority is keeping Donald Trump happy based on his public statements so far. And again, that's not how you develop good policy. And the other thing I would note is we've already seen some suggestion, and we saw it in the first Trump administration when there were tariffs that were placed a little bit indiscriminately, that in certain industries, for example, tariffs that were placed on washing machines, we saw also price increases with dryers because companies that make those products realized that they had a little bit of cover to raise prices and consumers probably wouldn't know the difference. Similar to what we had talked about during some of the inflation discussions that we've had over the last year, when CEOs going on their earnings calls on the record saying inflation's kind of good for us. Well, tariffs that have no strategy behind them, that are just going to generally increase prices for a lot of goods, create an opportunity for corporations that just want to price gouge and raise prices, even if they aren't subject to a particular tariff, to do that, and counting on the American consumer to not know the difference. And also they know that based on the signals we're seeing so far, that the government's unlikely to do anything about it. So these are all really troubling developments in a very short period of time. Again, we'll just have to see what actually gets implemented. But if the goal is to try to improve outcomes for workers, boost domestic production, and keep prices low, then you can do that with tariffs, but only if you're pairing it with an effective domestic production industrial policy strategy.
Well, and also the Mexican president said, cool, we're going to hit your ass with tariffs.
Right. So you're, likely leading to some retaliation, which also can have price impact. So it's a bit of a mess if you're not really going to engage in the necessary negotiations. And again, with a real plan of why you're using a tariff. Tariff can be an effective tool, but not if you're just using it as some kind of political ploy and to kind of assert yourself without any real plan. That is going to have really bad outcomes for workers and all of us in our pocketbooks. And let's just hope that we don't see the follow through.
Well, here's a perfect example. One of these Trump folks, you can go to my iPad, he goes, it's very simple. 84% of Mexico's exports go to the U.S. 77% of Canada's exports go to the U.S. Trump has more leverage and he knows it. Okay, Morgan, let me just be clear. So, exports to the U.S., meaning products in Mexico going to the U.S. Tariffs on those goods are not going to impact Mexico. Tariffs on those goods will be paid by Americans who are buying those products.
Yes, and I think another thing to keep in mind is just because you're putting a tariff on a particular country, it doesn't mean that then they're going to move production back to the U.S. automatically. They also have other options. They can move to other countries. So looking at, for example, at some of the tariffs on China, they can move to other countries in Asia, for example, that will do nothing to actually necessarily, again, if not paired with some kind of domestic strategy, will not lower prices. And a lot of these companies can just bypass their production, bypass the tariff and move their production to other countries that then also will have no positive impact on workers. So this, I can't really repeat it enough. This is really concerning policy, if you want to call it policy ideas, coming from President-elect Trump's camp here and his own words. And it's really unfortunate because I do think it confuses a lot of the public around how tariffs could be used effectively. And of course, overall, we want to see good impacts for all of us. We want to keep prices low. We want to make sure that we have lots of high-paying job opportunities for workers in the U.S., and this is not the path to get there.
The thing that's also interesting is that the Mexican president, she's not playing here. In her letter, she responds to Trump. She says, go to my iPad, 70% of the illegal weapons seized from criminals in Mexico come from your country. We do not produce these weapons, nor do we consume synthetic drugs. Tragically, it is in our country that lives are lost to the violence resulting from meeting the drug demands in yours. President Trump, migration and drug consumption in the United States cannot be addressed through threats or tariffs. What is needed is cooperation and mutual understanding to tackle these significant challenges. She writes, for every tariff, there will be a response in kind until we put at risk our shared enterprises. Yes, shared. For instance, among Mexico's main exporters to the United States are General Motors, Stellantis, and Ford Motor Company, which arrived in Mexico 80 years ago. Why impose a tariff that would jeopardize them? Such a measure would be unacceptable and would lead to inflation and job losses in both the United States and Mexico. All of it, you see, this is the thing that I go back to NAFTA, when all of these white voters in the Midwest, Illinois and Ohio and Michigan and Wisconsin, they were all, NAFTA is killing us. And I kept trying to explain to people, NAFTA is hurting one part of the country, but it's doing well for other states, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and others. And so this is the Mexican president said, okay, if you want to go there, let's go. I don't think the Mexican president and the Canadian prime minister are going to be backing down for Donald Trump's threats, because they know he does this and prices spike, that's on him.
Yeah, I think listening to you, Roland, it's making me really appreciate just some of the tragedy of the situation, because, look, there's a lot of different views on NAFTA and what the impacts were from that. There has been a lot of, I think, evolution in how both parties are seeing trade policy, including but not limited to the use of tariffs. And we need to be having a real discussion about which takes on trade policy are going to best serve us as a country. Just like we need to have that on controlling fentanyl, just like the Mexican president there is saying in thinking about managing immigration issues. These are not easy topics. But to just continue to use everything as a political opportunity is really, really harmful and kind of missing the whole point. But, but on trade, I mean, there has been a real evolution here. It's like people, even in the Democratic Party want to say, oh, Trump's crazy, he's talking about tariffs. Well, we need to talk about, again, which kind of tariffs. And based on what Trump was doing in his first administration, which some of those, some targeting tariffs that Biden was able to build off on and support EV, speaking of the auto industry, EV manufacturing, support chip production in the U.S., well, those are the types of tariffs that actually can serve the interests of American workers and try eventually to keep prices lower. But this free-for-all of just letting Wall Street cronies run wild and do whatever Trump wants, again, that's not the way that we make good policy, and it's not gonna serve the best interests of the United States.
All right, Morgan Harper, we really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me.
Folks, got to go to a break. We come back, we'll chat with my panel. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Don't forget to support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. You can contribute via Cash App by using this QR code from Stripe. Simply click Cash App and then make your donation. You can also send your check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037 7-0196. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Don't forget, download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Also, be sure to get a copy of my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds, available at bookstores nationwide. Also, be sure to get your merchandise, Roland Martin Unfiltered merchandise, including our new shirt. Don't blame me. I voted for the black woman. Go to First of all, you can go to blackstarnetwork.com, go to RolandSMartin.com, or you can go directly to RolandMartin.creator-spring.com. And of course, we want you to participate with Fanbase. Of course, the goal is to support this black-owned social media app. You can be an owner. You can get an equity stake. Get more information, go to startengine.com/fanbase. Startengine.com/fanbase. Download the app, but also invest in the app, and that's where you can get it. Back in a moment.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
As an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol, we've seen
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear.
Coming soon to the Black Star Network.
I had been trying to get a record deal for a long time. You know, when I finally got signed to the Motown record label in 2003, I was 34, 35 years old. And up until that time, I had been trying to get record deals the traditional way. You know, you record your demo, you record your music, and you send it, you know, to the record labels, or maybe somebody, a friend of a friend, knows somebody that works for, you know, the record label. And really, chemistry was, that was my last-ditch effort at being in the music business.
How long have you been trying?
I've been trying since I was a teenager. Wow. You know? And you know, and I'm grateful that it didn't. I'm grateful that it happened when it happened, because I wasn't prepared, you know, as a teenager to embrace all that comes with a career in the music industry.
Look, Fanbase is more than a platform. It's a movement to empower creators, offering a unique opportunity for everyday people to invest in Black-owned tech, infrastructure, and help shape the future of social media. Investing in technology is essential for creating long-term wealth and influence in the digital age. The Black community must not only consume tech, we must own it.
Discover how equity crowdfunding can serve as a powerful tool for funding Black businesses, allowing entrepreneurs to raise capital directly through their community through the Jobs Act.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Latasha from the A.
And you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks, let's welcome our panel. Dr. Mustafa Santiago Ali, former senior advisor for environmental justice at the EPA. Joining us from D.C., Randy Bryant, DEI disruptor. Joining us from D.C., Joe Richardson, civil rights attorney. Joining us from Los Angeles. Mustafa, I'll start with you. It is, I'm telling you, listen, y'all might as well get used to hearing Scarface's No Tears, because I'm going to be playing that a lot over the next 4 years. Donald Trump slaps these tariffs on these goods, and all of these people who are whining about prices under Biden-Harris, who are whining about inflation, who are whining about paying too much, I'm just going to sit here and say, what did the homeboy say? It's above me now.
Yeah, I mean, that's real. And, you know, the interesting thing is that it's not like the economists waited until this moment to share with folks how this is such a bad idea. You know, they were sharing this information. The top economists were sharing that this was going to have significant impacts on our economy. And, you know, the question always is that, you know, we know billionaires and millionaires, they are never going to be impacted. They're not worried about how much the light bill costs of putting food on the table. But for everyday folks, you have to ask the question, how is this going to impact you? And in a sense, folks, when they voted, said that they cared about the prices of food. It's a curious matter because we know that these tariffs, which are really taxes, are going to increase the things that you said that you cared about, you know, whether it is bread or milk or eggs, those different types of things, then the price is going to go up. The other part of it is, you know, we also talk about the gas was too high. Well, we know that these tariffs also, economists have said, can add an additional 25 to 75 cents in a minimum way to what you're already paying. Of course, you know, the price of gas can even go up even higher. So the question becomes, moving outside of sort of looking at these issues in a vacuum, the other things that this Trump administration is talking about. So if you know that the prices of foods are already significantly higher, and then this will raise that price. And they also have said that the climate crisis, that they're no longer going to work on that. So we know that that will also increase the price of food. And we also know that they said they're going to round up a whole bunch of people who are in the agricultural industry and send them back home. So then once again, that's going to raise the price of food. So tariffs have a significant impact, and they also have ripples to all these other sets of actions that they said that they're going to do.
It is, again, just surprising watching these people. And what they forget, Randy, they forget Trump did these tariffs when he was last there. And guess what? He destroyed soybean and other farms. The American taxpayers had to spend $25 billion in subsidies, called welfare, to help them because of the tariffs. China didn't pay that. Americans did.
Right. But when it comes to Trump, what I have found is that people have very short memories. I mean, when he left office, he had the ratings, the lowest ratings of any president ever. But people didn't remember that when they put him in office again. And so, again, just like you're saying, they have forgotten the tariffs he had before and what the effect was then. Also, I believe because he talks so much trash, right? That we have a leader that you don't know when he's bluffing or when he's serious, which certainly is not a good form of leadership. Because when he first came out, he said that he was talking about 60% tariffs in China, and he's now backing away from that very slowly. So, no one even knows when he's speaking the truth about what he's going to do or when he's just talking a big game. And then lastly, yes, I mean, you talk about we have this idea that America, and people who voted for Trump have this idea that America is the big and the best, and nobody can challenge us, and we can do whatever we want, and that we can just bully people into doing what we want to do. And I like how the president of Mexico came back and said, wait a minute, shorty, wait a minute, let's look at this a little bit. I mean, and how it would affect us, But unfortunately, it seems like the people who voted for Trump don't look at facts. I mean, they don't look at the fact that we get like almost 35% of our produce from Mexico and Canada. So if there are tariffs on that, that's gonna hurt us in some form or fashion. We're gonna feel it. And even if we don't feel it where you're paying more, I promise you that restaurants, those food service, those things that we like, we're gonna be getting less. So all of a sudden, I don't know what a Big Mac has on it when it doesn't have tomato and lettuce on it, but they're charging the same prices. That's why.
Listen, Joe, again, for all these people, they kept blaming all of these things on President Biden, Vice President Harris. Guess what? This is what y'all voted for. So don't come back with buyer's remorse, because y'all fell for the okie doke and the lies. And he was lying to you. But they said, oh, we'll ignore the lies from the serial liar.
Yeah, and, they're going to get you coming in and they're going to get you going out. We forget, the part that we alluded to a little bit, you did in the interview, is the fact that corporations are okay with raising prices anyway, falsely setting it up as if it's an issue that the Biden administration was responsible for, the fact that corporations decide to get together and raise prices on their own, to everyone's detriment. And I'd call it an unintended consequence that prices would go up with tariffs. But everybody knows that if you do tariffs without strategy, and you don't have a good reason for doing them and something to offset them potentially so that you're better off, you're going to have higher prices. Also, that piece of information that the president of Mexico provided in that statement is some stuff that a lot of folk don't know about how our companies are down there, and therefore that's going to affect us as well. It's going to affect us here. It's going to affect us there. It's going to affect employees. It's going to affect the number of jobs. It's going to affect a lot of things. But when you see it coming, I don't necessarily think that you get to call it an unintended consequence. That being said, I think there are other unintended consequences that we aren't even talking about that are going to come and manifest themselves in the way of higher prices, in the way of lost jobs, in the way of crises as it pertains to certain service professions, not having people fill in because the Trump administration seems to be hell-bent on doing this thing for retribution kind of purpose. But it's going to end up being a very serious problem that's going to have both the intended consequences that economists would tell you. I mean, Walmart's telling you they're going to raise prices, and unintended consequences too.
As I said, it's above me now. Sorry. It's above me now. And I'm telling y'all, I'm aware for the next 4 years, don't pull it up, y'all. Don't blame me. I voted for the black woman. I'm aware of that the next 4 years. And so when they start running their mouths, hey, don't blame me. I voted for the black woman. Just want to let y'all know. All right, got to go to a break. We come back. We're going to talk about white woman in Florida. Oh, kill that sister? Her sorry ass about to sit in prison for a little while. Also, we'll talk about a case out of Kansas City as well. Plus, oh, y'all, poor Rudy Giuliani. He was in court today, and he said, I don't have any money. They're trying to take my car. They're taking all of my stuff. You shouldn't have talked shit about those two black women in Georgia. So, again, Rudy, no tears. I'll be back on Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Hi, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Fanbase is a free-to-download, free-to-use, next-generation social media platform that allows anyone to have followers and subscribers on the same page. Fanbase was built through investment dollars from equity crowdfunding from the Jobs Act. People just like you helped build Fanbase, and we're looking for more people to help build Fanbase. We are currently raising $17 million in a Regulation A crowdfund on Start Engine. We've already crossed $2.1 million, but we're looking to raise more capital from people just like you that deserve the opportunity to invest in early-stage startups without having to be accredited investors. So right now, I'd like you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase right now, today. And then use Fanbase to connect with friends, grow your audience, and be you without limits.
I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for a Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
Coming soon to the Black Star Network.
I had been trying to get a record deal for a long time. You know, when I finally got signed to the Motown record label in 2003, I was 34, 35 years old. And up until that time, I had been trying to get record deals the traditional way. You know, you record your demo, you record your music, and you send it, you know, to the record labels, or maybe somebody, a friend of a friend, knows somebody that works for, you know, the record label. And really, chemistry was my last ditch effort at being in the music business.
How long have you been trying?
I've been trying since I was a teenager. Wow. And you know, and I'm grateful that it didn't. I'm grateful that it happened when it happened, because I wasn't prepared, you know, as a teenager to embrace all that comes with a career in the music industry.
Russell L. Honoré, Lieutenant General, United States Army, retired, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
The white Florida woman who fatally shot her black neighbor through a closed door in June of 2023, about to sit her ass in prison for the next 25 years. Here's what the judge said right before announcing Susan Lawrence's sentence of first-degree felony manslaughter for killing Ajike A.J. Owens.
I'm primarily looking at the harm inflicted upon not only the victim, who of course lost her life, but her family. She has 4 children, all of whom were present during the offense or somewhere in the general vicinity, or at least home. It certainly will have a traumatic impact on their lives for the rest of their lives. They'll live their whole lives without their mother, which I think is a very significant harm inflicted upon them by Ms. Lawrence. When I look at the nature of the offense, I find that the shooting was completely unnecessary in this case. Ms. Lawrence was behind the door was locked. She had already called law enforcement. They were en route. She knew they were en route. She was in a relatively safe position. For some reason, she went into her room and found a gun. She could have stayed in the room and put another locked door between her and Miss Owens, but she came back out, put herself in front of the door, and at the time she fired the gun through the door, she was safe. Miss Owens was simply, although she was clearly banging loudly and was probably very angry over the whole situation, it appears to be she was mostly demanding that Miss Lawrence come outside, which would indicate she had no indication of coming inside the house. So when Miss Lawrence fired the gun through the door, she did so knowing a person was directly on the other side of the door. And she knew that person wasn't a burglar, she wasn't a robber, she wasn't a rapist. She knew she was probably upset about the interaction with the kids, but she had arguments with her before, and no real harm came other than, I guess, a sign was thrown at her, a paper sign. And that's when she decided to shoot. I find that the shooting, when I listened to every aspect of the trial and every aspect of sentencing here, it's the facts don't rise to a murder charge, but they are very aggravated manslaughter. Because this case, the shooting was based, I find, more on anger than fear. I think that's pretty well established in this case. So when I weigh it out, and believe me, I find that, she's a victim of child sex abuse, was a significant mitigating factor. And she has no criminal record, which is also a significant factor. However, we also have a tremendous harm inflicted upon this family and the victim's family. So what I'm going to do in this case is she being adjudicated guilty of manslaughter with a firearm, and order to serve 25 years in the Department of Corrections. With credit for 538 days, $100 cost of prosecution, $100 fine, court cost. Good luck to you, ma'am. You have 30 days to appeal.
Again, Lorenz shot Owens, a black mother of 4, in the presence of her now 10-year-old son after Owens went to speak with Lorenz following a dispute over Owens' children playing near her home. Her defense team argued that she acted in self-defense because she feared for her life, but she shot an unarmed Owens through a locked door. I don't want to see no white woman tears, Randy. The bottom line is this woman was hateful and despicable. And I'll be honest, I hope she get her ass whooped every day in prison.
I would not cry her one tear if that's what happened. She deserves whatever happens to her. Quite frankly, the fact that she killed that woman, a mother of 3 children, in front of one of the kids and near the other 2 children, and then never really showed remorse. You saw even during the sentencing, she's trying to deny and trying to actually suggest that she was scared. How are you scared behind a closed, locked door? And there was another door she could have closed, they said, to even make her safer. So it's just disgusting. She is pure evil. No other way to look at it. Pure evil.
And she can sit there, Joe, all she wants to do, shaking her head. She did not have to do this. This was on her, so she can go to hell.
Yeah, she had no reasonable belief that she was in danger of serious bodily injury or death. That's the fact of the matter. There's one door closed. She could have closed another door. Police were called and on the way, and she had dealt with her before. And because she dealt with her before and she survived, as it were, doesn't sound like there were physical altercations or any of those types of things. There's a lot of yelling and screaming. She did not have good reason to believe that she needed to shoot through a door, because among other things, that could have shot anybody. You know, that could have harmed anybody. That could have harmed that child physically, in addition to the mental harm that that child and that child's siblings will have to live with for the rest of their lives. So this judge was very measured, and he gave her 25 years, even with the mitigating factors. And that's what he should have done. The fact of the matter is, she could theoretically still get out of jail at some point. And some of us might not think that's a good look. But it was justice. It was the right decision by the trier of fact that she was guilty because there was more anger than there was fear. And we need to all be reminded, listen, whether you black, white, you got a red tail, you polka dot, whatever you got cracking, you need to make sure that you don't let your hate and your dislike take you to a place that you don't need to be. She is Exhibit 1.
Right. Her ass was pure evil, Mustafa. Simple as that. And she deserved everything that she gets. Everything. All 25 years. And again, if she get her ass whooped in prison, I really don't care.
You know, there's that old adage, don't do the crime if you don't want to do the time. She made a choice. She made a choice to go back into whatever the back room was to get her weapon. She made a choice to pull the trigger. And with that choice, there are repercussions. The repercussions, of course, are those 4 little children no longer have their mother, but also now this individual will spend the next possibly 25 years in prison. And it also speaks to the greater set of challenges that we have in this country when we've got over 400 million guns. So there's a whole bunch of people who have guns who just don't have the mental capacity to actually be able to deal with what they bring. So, you know, she got the time, she did the crime, and we move forward.
Indeed. Folks, let's talk about Independence, Missouri, where police officers were responded to a domestic disturbance call. By the time they left, a mother and her infant daughter were dead, killed by those called to help. The community and family want to know why officers shot 34-year-old Maria Pike and her daughter, 2-month-old Destiny Hope, who was in her mother's arms. The Kansas City Defender has followed this case. In an article, in this article, the infant's father, Michael Holder, who was present during the incident, said, "They shot my baby." Holder said, his voice shaking with grief and fury, "It looked like her head exploded. Her blood splattered across my glasses and all over me. All I could do was scream. I just kept saying 3 words, the same 3 words, you killed her. I was screaming it over and over." Neither the body camera footage nor the identity of the police officer who pulled the trigger have been released. Ryan Sorrell, the founder and executive editor of the Kansas City Defender, joins us right now. Ryan, glad to have you here. So they're not explaining what the hell they did. They're not explaining what the circumstances were. How do people, I mean, this sounds like the Sonia Massey case. They call for help and they end up dead.
Absolutely. I mean, I think this is truly one of the most horrifying cases that I have ever reported on. From what we have seen, I mean, the day after it happened, the police chief of Independence Police Department, Police Chief Dustman, did a press conference that we call a state-sanctioned disinformation campaign, where he literally went out to the media and said that he was spewing essentially what has been disproven by all of the existing eyewitnesses that we have spoken to. We've spoken with the grandmother who was present. We spoke to the grandfather. I spoke directly with Mitchell, who was in the room. I spoke to the owner of the apartment complex, who was also present. Everybody has said that they did not see Maria have any weapon in her arm, yet the police chief espoused that allegedly Maria had a knife in her hand, which he tried to make that seem as if that would justify the fact that the police ran into this apartment with military-grade assault rifles, knowing there was a baby present, and ultimately shot this baby Destiny, in her head while she was being held in her mother's arms. And then when her mother jumped up, they shot Maria as well. And so this is just absolutely horrifying. The police are not releasing any details whatsoever. And to me, what just does not make any sense, what doesn't make any sense to the family, to the community, what doesn't make any sense is why the police department and this police chief would say that she was armed and put this narrative out there. But then when the media asked him, do you all know what the age of this young person or this child that you killed, he refused to say the age. He said, I'm not going to get into that. So why is he able to get into whether or not he says that she's armed, but he's not able to, and to this day, they still have not confirmed whether or not they killed this infant. And the only reason we know about it is because the family has told us.
First of all, it was, okay, who called them, and was it domestic violence in that household or somewhere else?
Correct. Yes, it was so it pretty much all started when the grandmother, which is Mitchell. Mitchell is the father of baby Destiny, and Mitchell's mother, so the grandmother, was assaulted by Maria. Maria is the mother of baby Destiny. And so the grandmother goes outside, she calls the police, and she wants to press charges against Maria. And the police arrive, and they ask the grandmother, they say, are there any weapons present upstairs? And the grandmother says, no, there are not any weapons present upstairs. All I want her to do is be arrested for assault. And then she also tells the police there is a baby upstairs. So she warns them that there is an infant inside of the apartment building. And then the police go upstairs. They actually go into the wrong apartment. They go into someone else's apartment. And I spoke directly to this person named Bug. And they busted into Bug's apartment. So they go into the wrong apartment with these assault weapons. Once again, they point them directly at Bug. They're screaming at Bug, saying, what did you do with my officer? Where is my officer? And Bug is screaming back at them, you have the wrong apartment. And this goes on for about 30 seconds until they finally realize they're in the wrong apartment, and they just run out. They don't apologize or anything. They run out, and they go to supposedly what is the correct apartment. And Mitchell, I spoke directly with Mitchell as well, who's the father of Destiny. And Mitchell says that he asked the police, can they talk outside the door? Because he didn't want the police to come inside of his apartment with their guns out like that. And despite his pleas for the police to stay outside of his door, they barge into the door, and that's when the altercation happened.
Well, we certainly would love to get more information. And as usual, when they don't release body cam footage, when they don't release a name and don't release details, that means the cops screwed up. That's exactly what it means. So, all right, then. We certainly appreciate it, Ryan. Thanks a lot. Folks, going to a break. We come back. Oh, Rudy Giuliani, y'all. He is crying. He just doesn't know what to do because they're taking all of his money. Well, that's what happens when you absolutely lie on Black Georgia workers. And then you keep defaming them. And then you keep defaming them. And then you keep defaming them. So, shut up. Folks, support our work. Join the Bring the Funk fan club. If you want to give via Cash App, do so via Stripe and this QR code. You can use it right here. Also, send your check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. Of course, PayPal, R. Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back.
Coming soon to the Black Star Network.
I had been trying to get a record deal for a long time. You know, when I finally got signed to the Motown record label in 2003, I was 34, 35 years old. And up until that time, I had been trying to get record deals the traditional way. You know, you record your demo, you record your music, and you send it, you know, to the record labels, or maybe somebody, a friend of a friend, knows somebody that works for, you know, the record label. And really, chemistry was my last-ditch effort at being in the music business.
How long have you been trying?
I've been trying since I was a teenager. Wow. You know? And you know, and I'm grateful that it didn't. I'm grateful that it happened when it happened, because I wasn't prepared, you know, as a teenager to embrace all that comes with a career in the music industry.
Y'all, look, Fanbase is more than a platform. It's a movement to empower creators, offering a unique opportunity for everyday people to invest in Black-owned tech, infrastructure, and help shape the future of social media. Investing in technology is essential for creating long-term wealth and influence in the digital age. The Black community must not only consume tech, we must own it.
Discover how equity crowdfunding can serve as a powerful tool for funding Black businesses, allowing entrepreneurs to raise capital directly through their community through the Jobs Act.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
Hello, I'm Marissa Mitchell, a news anchor at Fox 5 DC.
Hey, what's up? It's Tammy Roman, and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Well, folks, there was a hearing today, and let's just say Rudy Giuliani was not happy at all. Now, you know, he's got to pay a massive judgment to two Black poll workers in Georgia because he kept defaming them in the 2020 election. And Rudy ain't too happy, y'all. And the judge was kicking his ass today saying, where's the title for your Mercedes-Benz? And then he goes outside of court, and y'all, and listen to this. If y'all want to see white tears, check this out.
Reality is, I have no cash. It's all tied up. So right now, if I wanted to call a taxi cab, I can't do it. I don't have a credit card. I don't have a checking account. I have no place I can go take cash out except the little bit that I saved, and it's getting down to almost nothing. I have a business. I can do business expenses, but I'm very careful about that because God forbid I should make a mistake between a personal and a business expense. Unlike Hunter Biden, I go to jail right away.
Oh, really? So you think that that's going to work? Y'all, he started going at the judge. The judge was like, sit your ass down. Joe, no tears. Rudy Giuliani continually defamed these sisters, and now he's pissed because they snatching everything. His son, my dad's going to have to give up his World Series collections. Yes, bring that shit here. Oh, but his collection of watches, come on, bring that here. They taking everything, sell everything. Yo, leave his ass butt naked. Sell his suits, sell his shoes, sell everything. This is what you get when you show your ass and you act a fool. And they kept telling you, say, dog, stop lying. No, he kept lying. He kept lying. He kept defaming them. And what's so stupid? Trump owes this fool $3 million in legal fees. He still ain't paid. Well, guess what? If Trump cut his ass that check, Ruby get that money.
Right. That's right. And so, yeah, he's in a little bit of a pickle, man. Sometimes, the game is kind of tough that way. And so, yeah, no, not an ounce of sympathy. I don't know if maybe he thought he was Donald Trump or something, but at the end of the day, he got rolled up pretty good, and he doesn't deserve any sympathy. And really, a lot of his family isn't really with him like that either. They're a little less than sympathetic, and they've been that way for a minute. Whether they wanted that ultimate fate for him at all or not, it was really out of their hands, because this is a cause and effect. This is something that he did that, as my people would say, he ain't had no business doing, okay? Got busted on it. And has an incredible judgment that he doesn't have the ability to pay, or at the least it starts with his possessions. And that's how it goes when you get yourself in so much trouble that you get a judgment that you can't cover. So I don't have an ounce of sympathy for him, and I hope they continue to juice him like a sun-kiss.
He's sitting here whining, Mustafa, because today's hearing is about setting a date for a January trial. And the judge jammed up saying, yo, man, why you didn't turn a 1980 Mercedes over? And so he's mad. He's upset. I love this line from give me 1 second. The courtroom. I love all the different the sketch artists that took place. Yeah, let's see. Maybe I can show this to y'all. I love this here. He was so upset. This sketch artist right here just nailed it. Look at Rudy sitting there, just mad, all upset. Mustafa. Well, Rudy, guess what? You wrote checks. Now your ass couldn't cash. Now it's on you, player.
Yeah. Well, he's mad because his privilege didn't allow him to be protected in the way that he thought that it would. He thought that he could be able to do and say whatever he wanted, and there would be no repercussions for that. It's interesting because so many folks continue to focus on him. So one, it's interesting that his crew ain't showed up for him. Not only Donald Trump, but you've seen in the past when we've had these folks who are on the MAGA side of the equation, and when they do something, how all these people show up and pay their legal fees and all this other type of stuff. So that should also tell you something about how that group of people feel about him, that he is a detriment to the things that they're trying to do, even as egregious as they are. The other impact, or the other thing that you got to talk about, is that, these two black women who are doing their job, right, trying to make sure that democracy worked the way that it's supposed to work, this individual decided that he would both, help to perpetuate both physical and mental impacts on them. And he just kept fanning the flames and kept fanning the flames and kept fanning the flames. So, they're getting death threats. They're getting all these different types of things. They can't leave their homes. And then you've got the mental health aspect of that weight that they had to continue to carry. So every dollar that they are receiving, they deserve. Because this individual decided that, he was above the law and that he could do and say whatever he wanted. So I'm glad that he got checked. And I hope all the other folks who continue to do these types of things also have to go in their pockets to make sure that they are reimbursing folks for their time, for the mental health, and for the physical things that they have to go through.
I love this here, Randy, quote, because the judge was jamming him up about getting a title. Your client is a competent person. He was the U.S. attorney in this district. The notion that he can't apply for a title certificate and then Giuliani then cuts him off. I did apply for it. What am I supposed to do? Make it up myself? Your implication that I have not been diligent about it is totally incorrect. Well, you made up stuff about the two workers. And then he cried poverty. I'm not impoverished. Everything I have is tied up. I don't have a car. I don't have a credit card. I don't have cash. And I love this sketch artist right here. Arms folded, all upset, mad, and angry. I don't know who that is, a black dude or was a white guy standing next to him. I don't know who that is. Then he claimed, first of all, he's very good at this. He claimed without providing evidence, someone had placed what he called a stop order on his Social Security account. And the judge said, I had enough of this. Judge said, next time, he's not going to be permitted to speak and the court will take action. Your client can either represent himself by counsel or appear pro se. He can't do both. And then the judge says the cars and the keys without the title is meaningless. Oh, and this is that Mercedes right here. So sorry, Rudy, you're going to have to suck this thing up. And then the judge denied his bid to push back a January 16th trial of whether he can hang on to some of his prized possessions. Remember, he also is appealing the case. He's been disbarred as well. And so, oh well, sorry, Randy. I have zero sympathy for that Trump suck-up.
And it's very fascinating to watch someone crumble in front of us because he is so accustomed to privilege. You know, this man is 80 years old, and for most of his life, he has gotten away with this sort of behavior because of privilege. And now he is becoming this victim in front of us, and we're supposed to feel sorry for him. I mean, I guess he expects some people to get a GoFundMe for his $148 million debt. But yeah, I think his gasket is flabbered. He just cannot believe this is happening to him. But he's getting exactly what he deserves to get. I am very proud of those two women for actually standing up and pressing charges, because a lot of people would not have. They would have complained about it, but they would not have said, we are going to file charges against this very powerful man. So good for him. And, I want to get my popcorn and watch him, cry and beg a little bit more.
I love this here. He wants to delay the trial. It's supposed to be January 16th. And then his attorney said argument for delaying the trial was that he'd like the case to be resolved in time for him to attend the inauguration. And then Staten Island attorney Joseph Camarata claimed Giuliani has an involvement with the inauguration and that he regularly consults with Trump. The judge is like, I'm sorry, your social calendar does not represent good cause to grant a delay. Oh my goodness, I love it. That white privilege ain't working. That federal judge like, nah, player, we gonna have this trial January 16th. And your ass about to pay up. So I want these two sisters to snatch everything. In fact, I would love, because when they get their hands on his penthouse in New York, I say we throw a party in that bad boy. Mm-hmm. I say, that's real tough, I'm straight. Yeah, I will live stream. I will live stream a show in that sucker. I'm telling y'all right now. And then let's all drive around Georgia in that car. And so I take everything. Ruby and Shay, y'all hit me up. When y'all take custody of that apartment, I will do Roland Martin Unfiltered from that apartment. I'm just letting y'all know. I will happily do that. And I'll bring the DJ and everything. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. Let me go to a break. We come back. We're going to talk about just shameful conditions in a Virginia prison that has people demanding answers. So we'll talk about that. Lots more we're going to cover on the show. Also, marketplace segment. A sister out of New York, a doctor, has a new skincare product line that has black folks in mind. So we're going to break that thing down as well. Lots to discuss right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network. Back in a moment.
Hi, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Fanbase is a free-to-download, free-to-use, next-generation social media platform that allows anyone to have followers and subscribers on the same page. Fanbase was built through investment dollars from equity crowdfunding from the Jobs Act. People just like you help build Fanbase, and we're looking for more people to help build Fanbase. We are currently raising $17 million in a Regulation A crowdfund on Start Engine. We've already crossed $2.1 million, but we're looking to raise more capital from people just like you that deserve the opportunity to invest in early-stage startups without having to be accredited investors. So right now, I'd like you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase right now, today. and then use Fanbase to connect with friends, grow your audience, and be you without limits.
Coming soon to the Black Star Network.
I had been trying to get a record deal for a long time. You know, when I finally got signed to the Motown record label in 2003, I was 34, 35 years old. And up until that time, I had been trying to get record deals the traditional way. You know, you record your demo, you record your music, and you send it, you know, to the record labels, or maybe somebody, a friend of a friend, knows somebody that works for, you know, the record label. And really, chemistry that was my last-ditch effort at being in the music business.
How long have you been trying?
I've been trying since I was a teenager. Wow. And you know, and I'm grateful that it didn't. I'm grateful that it happened when it happened, because I wasn't prepared, you know, as a teenager to embrace all that comes with a career in the music industry.
This is Reggie Rock Byford. You're watching
Roland Martin, unfiltered, uncut, unplugged, and undamn believable. You hear me?
6 folks have burned themselves at Virginia's Supermax Red Onion State Prison since the start of the year. Allegations of abuse have been piling up since the prison opened in 1998. The Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International have released reports citing human rights violations. More than 2/3 of the inmates are held in solitary confinement for 23 hours a day, ranging from 2 weeks to 14 years. According to a 2018 lawsuit, one man allegedly hallucinated and spoke with his dead parents while kept in solitary for more than 12 years. In another case, a man isolated for over 600 days started to speak in numbers, lost more than 30 pounds, and signed his name with a series of random letters. The DOC settled both lawsuits. Virginia's Legislative Black Caucus wrote a letter condemning the inhumane conditions at the prison. Delegate Ray Cousins joins us now from Richmond. So, first and foremost, we've seen where the Department of Justice has come in and investigated state prisons. And we just saw what they just did in Fulton County, the jail there. Have y'all called for the DOJ to come in to investigate this prison and other prisons in Virginia?
So the Legislative Black Caucus has not called on the DOJ to investigate, but we are calling on the Department of Corrections, a Budsman office, which we established here in Virginia earlier this year, to provide oversight to correctional facilities and to investigate complaints like this. I also spoke to our House Public Safety Committee Chair, Marcus Simon, and we are, and I'm a member of that committee, and we will be holding an investigatory hearing within the next couple months, if not the next month or so.
Have you heard from the governor? Have you heard from the head of the Department of Corrections? What have they said to these allegations?
We have not heard from the governor. We just issued the press release this morning, and we expect to hopefully have those conversations within the next few days.
So have y'all confirmed these stories of these prisoners burning themselves?
So we have, right now, these are allegations, and we're hearing complaints from incarcerated individuals and their families, and that is who has reported these conditions to us. Earlier this year, I received a number of complaints from constituents here in Richmond, Virginia, who have family members at Red Onion, who mentioned that a few of the incarcerated individuals were undergoing hunger strikes in protest to the inhumane conditions that exist at the prison. And then more recently, we've received reports about incarcerated individuals lighting themselves on fire in protest. And so these are still very fresh and new allegations, and we are working to get to the bottom of that. We're calling on the governor. We're calling on the Virginia Department of Corrections, Director Dotson. Also, as I mentioned, the Ombudsman's office that we established here to investigate these allegations.
Whose district is this prison in, and what does that representative had to say?
So this prison is located in Southwest Virginia. It's actually on Red Onion Mountain. We have not heard from the representative who actually represents that area, but we do know that a majority of the incarcerated individuals there are either from the city of Richmond, which I represent, along with 2 other delegates, 2 state senators, and I believe the Hampton Roads area.
Are y'all going to demand a visit to the prison to inspect for yourselves what's going on?
Yes, and I will say Director Dotson and the Virginia Department of Corrections generally has encouraged us to visit Red Onion. I know a few of my colleagues visited earlier this year, and so we definitely want to have a visit and just see for ourselves, have an opportunity to speak to the staff, to also speak to inmates, just to, get to the bottom of this and figure out what's going on there.
Well, we certainly appreciate you joining us, and we'll look forward to see what happens next.
Thank you.
Joe, what we just heard there, this is a perfect example of one thing that we are going to desperately miss with the Biden-Harris administration. They have been very aggressive at investigating city, county, and state jails and prisons. And look, I don't think for a second you're going to see the same diligence from these Trump yahoos.
Anything on the law enforcement side, from consent decrees to prison conditions, those things are going to be investigated less, if at all, frankly. Because their feeling is that there's no sympathy for those types of things anyway. But even prisoners have rights. They have rights by the Constitution. There's a constitutional ban against cruel and unusual punishment. There are prisoners have rights, and so therefore. This is something that we're going to miss, because a lot of this will not be prioritized. It will be deprioritized. And the worst part of it is there are investigations that are underway that have been started. Like, you start something in the next couple months. I hate to be less than sympathetic or pessimistic, but you start something in the next couple months on this thing that's not state-based, then, it's going to get reversed in January anyway. And so this is going to be one of the areas in which we will desperately miss the Biden administration, because they really went out of their way to try to find these types of problems, deal with them, and force the agencies to be accountable, which would include monitoring changes that they promised to make. So we will miss that.
Randy?
It's very concerning, because what you realize is that, one, when you have a prison guard, the qualifications for them to have these jobs are pretty minimal, and they're not tested to see what there's not a psychological test to see where they are. So some people take these jobs really with the focus on being able to assert some sort of cruelty on people. And they do not see these prisoners as people. So it's very scary that there will be no oversight to ensure that these people, very real people, are at least treated with a level of humanity, just like you said.
Mustafa?
I mean, the state prison system is, it holds the largest amount of people. Almost 1 million folks are incarcerated in the state prison system. So we should just understand, the totality of how many folks are being impacted here. And then the other thing is that folks have continued to whittle away at the resources that are necessary to make sure that when someone is incarcerated, that they have the opportunity to come out better off than when they went in. And I believe, and folks should fact check this, that Ben Klein is actually the individual, I think it's the 6th district down there in Virginia, and he actually sits on the Judiciary Committee. So, they should be taking a look at what's going on in this particular situation and others across the country. So we've known for quite a while that our state prison system has many cracks in it. Some would say that it's broken, but unfortunately, we probably over the next 4 years will not have an administration that actually wants to do what's necessary to fix this.
All right, folks, got to go to break. We come back. Walmart scraps its DEI program. We told y'all this was going to happen. We warned y'all these things were going to happen, and so we're going to talk about it as well. And so can't wait to do that. I know Randy got a couple of things to say about that. All right, folks, support the work that we do. This is also one of the reasons why, because these companies, look, Walmart ain't never took an ad out with us. And don't think we haven't tried. Publicis was their ad agency, and they ain't done a damn thing with us. So here you go. So, but this is how these companies are. So I guess they definitely not going to be doing anything now. Just they shuttering DEI. Support us, of course, via Cash App. You can give via the Stripe app. Use the QR code right there. Send your check and money order. P.O. Box 57196. Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back.
What's up, y'all? Look, Fanbase is more than a platform. It's a movement to empower creators, offering a unique opportunity for everyday people to invest in Black-owned tech, infrastructure, and help shape the future of social media. Investing in technology is essential for creating long-term wealth and influence in the digital age. The Black community must not only consume tech, we must own it.
Discover how equity crowdfunding can serve as a powerful tool for funding Black businesses, allowing entrepreneurs to raise capital directly through their community through the Jobs Act.
Hi, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Fanbase is a free-to-download, free-to-use, next-generation social media platform that allows anyone to have followers and subscribers on the same page. Fanbase was built through investment dollars from equity crowdfunding from the Jobs Act. People just like you helped build Fanbase, and we're looking for more people to help build Fanbase. We are currently raising $17 million in a Regulation A crowdfund on Start Engine. We've already crossed $2.1 million, but we're looking to raise more capital from people just like you that deserve the opportunity to invest in early-stage startups without having to be accredited investors. So right now, I'd like you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase right now, today. And then use Fanbase to connect with friends, grow your audience, and be you without limits.
This is Tamala Mann.
And this is David Mann. And you're watching Roland Martin
Unfiltered.
Well, Walmart has decided they're going to get rid of their DEI policies. Why? Because right-wing conservatives have been targeting a number of public companies, telling them they don't like what their support for transgender, LGBTQ, as well as Black folks and other minorities. This is the Walmart U.S. CEO speaking this morning on CBS This Morning, explaining their decision. Of course, Walmart is America's largest employer, one of the biggest companies in the world. So this is a huge decision. Listen.
Well, first of all, good morning and thanks for having me. It's great to be here. I'm in Houston, Texas, in our Friendswood location, so it's exciting to be in the store this time of year. First, let me say, like many companies all across the United States, we've been on a journey and we continue to be on a journey. And what we're trying to do is to ensure that every customer, every associate feels welcome here to shop and to feel like they belong. And that term belong, we've been talking about belonging now for almost 2 years. Early 2023, we started talking about belonging. And we're going to continue to make the best decisions we can that makes everyone, our customers, our associates, feel like this is an environment they can shop in and thrive in.
Is diversity among your suppliers still important to you at Walmart, John?
Well, starting with our company back in 1962, we were a small business, a single store that operated out of Rogers, Arkansas. And so we'll continue to do the things that we can do to ensure that small suppliers have a path to being successful, not only at Walmart, but in their business in total. You know, every year we really focus on made in the USA. About 2/3 of what we sell is either made, grown, or assembled right here in the United States. We have a program every summer called Open Call, where we welcome in small suppliers and we welcome in people that have an idea, that are an entrepreneur and they want to learn. So we're going to continue to lean into ensuring that we provide the very best pathways for small businesses, our suppliers, to be successful here in the store. If I had more time, I could take you around the store and show you a few of those examples, but there are a lot of them and there'll continue to be more.
Okay, so first of all, you saw right there, he didn't answer Gayle King's question. He didn't answer it at all. There also was this $100 million initiative that they had announced after the death of George Floyd. They're getting rid of that. It was they also were funding what it was called a Center for Racial Equity, a nonprofit that Walmart launched in 2020. Supposed to be a 5-year initiative, and so that's also being shuttered. Let's just be real, Randy. What's going on here? This is a part of the attack against critical race theory, part of the attack on affirmative action. This is all about the right-wing agenda. They have been targeting Harley Davidson, John Deere, numerous companies. They've been targeting law firms. This is what this is all about. And the problem is corporate America. They're showing how gutless they are. They're showing how they are scared. Oh my God, we don't want to be attacked by Trump and the right. And so that's all this is. And I remember I was in Los Angeles. It was NAACP panel, and it was a DEI panel, and I was going hard. And people were like, dog, why are you going so hard? I said, because I'm trying to tell y'all this is about to end. I said, unless you have a strong counterattack, I said, these white corporations, their knees are going to buckle. They are not going to stand up to these right-wingers. And guess what? All of that stuff, and here we are. It'll be 5 years in May since George Floyd was killed. And I told folk, I said, I'll be shocked if we get to the 5th year. We barely had 3 years.
Right. And I want people to know, when you talk about attacking, it's not just that they are writing articles or doing interviews. They are filing lawsuits after lawsuits after lawsuits. These small law firms, but they're powerful, are filing these lawsuits that companies then have to fight against, saying that woke policies or any DEI initiatives are in fact discriminatory, which is completely the opposite of what the problem is. DEI was there to fix discriminatory problems, but they have flipped it around and are using again the term reverse reverse discrimination, reverse racism, which is no such thing as reverse racism. It's not even a real concept. It does not exist. But this is what is the problem. And these corporations are buckling under the pressure. And I really want people to understand the impact of that, because what that means is that a person trying to get a job at Walmart, yes, we understand that's going to be an issue, but also a person who's trying to sell their products in Walmart. They are not going to actively seek out or retain the people they have now that are under any underrepresented group. That's women, that's LGBTQIA, that's Black, Latino, that's Asian, that's people with disabilities, that's women. And so what they're saying is what they're saying is they're evening out the playing ground, because they have said, are trying to suggest that we are all have equal chances in America. We all have equal chance to make it. But what DEI does is it gives us an unfair advantage. Now, it is laughable that I, as a Black woman, has an unfair advantage over a heterosexual white man. We know that's a joke, right? We see who the president of Walmart is, but that's what they're suggesting. And so, of course, the opportunity for me to even sell, to supply, is going to be a problem. For there to advertise on shows like yours, Martin, Roland, is completely we're not going to exist. They're going to make it where what they have is what they consider a fair playing ground, and everybody's on it. I mean, it is quite scary that here we have the largest employer saying we no longer will have DEI initiatives, which also means they won't be looking at it. So they won't be looking at how they're functioning as a store. So if the store has employees that 95% of them are white and male, that's fine. There's no one there to check them on it. And that is what the workforce used to look like. DEI was supposed to work against that. That was the only reason that it was formed, is because of biases, people hire like people. And because of our history in this country, most of the people in charge are cishet white males, and they hire white males, and they do business with white males, and they bring in suppliers that are white males, and they pay more to white males. What they're saying though is, no, we now as white males feel as if we've been discriminated against just for the little slice of pie that these DEI initiatives offer to people. And so we'll sue you if they continue. Also, what's scary is that they're wiping out any kind of education. So you're going to have a workforce of people who are not educated on how to deal with people that are different from them. And so the workforce, I promise you, will be hostile. They won't be, if you do get a job there, now it's more difficult if you're from an underrepresented group. But when you do get the job, the chances of being treated well, that you feel included and like you're in a safe environment, those chances have gone down. So, and if Walmart has done it, the sad thing is that other corporations are definitely going to follow suit. So I feel very nervous for everyone involved. I mean, I don't think people, like, again, I know I'm going on and on, but even like truckers, I mean, there's the people who bring in the supplies from people. There are contracts that say, okay, we're going to give 5% of our contracts to minority truckers. Nope. That's gone now. Even that 5% is gone. And so it wasn't like we were getting much in the first place, but it's now non-existent. And even the term DEI, they can't even use the term. They have made it where it cannot be used in any materials or discussed at all. And the term Latinx. If you want to talk about the level of control that these law firms that are doing these lawsuits are having, they're making them so scared to even say the word, much less implement policies. It's dangerous. And, we really need to start having some discussions as Black organizations and as individuals of how we counteract this.
This is all because this right-winger right here, Robbie Starbuck, hit them last week and said, I'm going to be releasing a story on all of your woke policies. And so right here, last week I told execs at Walmart that I was doing a story on wokeness there. Instead, we had productive conversations to find solutions. And so Walmart totally caved. Walmart will no longer participate in the human rights campaign's what they call woke corporate equality index. Products. Monitor the Walmart marketplace to identify and remove inappropriate sexual and or transgender products marketed to children. Review all funding of Pride and other events to avoid funding inappropriate sexualized content targeting kids. Y'all, let me be real clear. This ain't just about transgender, y'all. They want them to stop funding black groups as well. Walmart not extending their racial equity center. Supposed to be 5 years, didn't even get to the 4th year. Look at this here. We will evaluate supplier diversity programs and ensure they do not provide preferential treatment and benefits to suppliers based on diversity. We don't have quotas and won't going forward. Financing eligibility will no longer be predicated on providing certain demographic data. Do y'all see? Walmart will no longer use Latinx. Walmart will discontinue racial equity training through the Racial Equity Institute. Walmart will discontinue the use of DEI as a term while assuring a respectful and supportive environment. Our focus is on belonging for all associates and customers. Total bullshit. And so here's a company, y'all, and again, they're gloating. Look what he says. We've now changed policy at companies worth over $2 trillion. That's what they did. Look at this. Our campaigns are now so effective that we're getting the biggest companies on earth to change their policies without me even posting a story outlining their woke policies. Companies can clearly see that America wants normalcy back. The era of wokeness is dying right in front of our eyes. The landscape of corporate America is quickly shifting to sanity and neutrality. We're now the trend, not the anomaly. Joe? Did I not call it?
Yeah, I mean,
I try. I've been telling everybody since 2009, we're living in the age of white minority resistance. And these white folks like this guy right here, they want to get rid of any program that helps black folks or any other minority group. And in their minds, oh, no, we don't want just 95% of the money. We want all of the money.
Right, and so much so that if without, soliciting, openly certain companies and suppliers, that you get to 5%, the Walmarts of the world, they might get sued just because they got to 5%. And that underlying that is nothing short of entitlement. For so many in this society have had, particularly white folks, have had the force of tradition, the force of legacy, the force of relationships, affirmative action, and things like that. And DEI, we're about having the force of law because we didn't have anything else. And so switching that back is not about, restoring fairness. What it's about is regaining a lost advantage. If things go back to the way they were, that means that there are more advantaged, and therefore there's expectation and entitlement tied into that. So even someone that gets to a healthy percentage of minorities, people of color, women, et cetera, even though there's an argument that particularly white women will continue to benefit and be on the privileged side, which is why they frankly voted the way that they did, they'll get sued. They will get sued for that very reason. So, it's a serious problem, and, we're going to have to decide what we're going to do and how we're going to deal with it, because what they're trying to do is basically go back to the Stone Age and say, all of this is ours, all of this belongs to us, and that's where we should be.
Mustafa, I guess, have you seen anything from the NAACP, anything from the Urban League, anything from these civil rights groups? I mean, is anybody it's just gonna be like, oh, okay, oh well, all right. So what are they gonna do? Have another panel?
I mean, you hit it on the head. You and I, we often are in alignment with the way that we think about these issues. Frederick Douglass once said that power concedes nothing without a demand. It never has, and it never will. And we've seen these companies moving away from DEI and a number of other sets of actions and policies that are critical for the healing of our nation. But yet, you don't see anybody in the street marching. You don't see anybody talking about economic boycotts and taking away resources from these folks, because the other folks on the other side of the equation are saying, yes, we will do this. Yes, we'll take you to court. Yes, we'll do all these other types of things. But then on the side of folks who say that they are trying to actually move this country forward, we don't see that. People are silent. So when you're silent, people think that you are complicit. And they think that you are not gonna, you're not gonna stand up, you're not gonna push back. Yeah, there are always a few voices that do that, but let's be very serious. There has been no strategic plan about how you were going to address these types of things. So people think you're playing. And when they think you're playing, they're not going to take you serious, and they're going to continue to move forward the agenda that they have. So if you want change to happen, then that means you got to put some skin in the game. It means it's not going to be easy. I understand, because I came from a rural community. I saw Walmart move into an area and take away all the mom and pop shops because they couldn't compete with prices. But we've got this dynamic now where folks have got to decide, what are you going to do in this moment? Folks have showed you their cards. And people are still just sitting back saying, well, it can't possibly ever get that bad. They're taking away your wealth because they put the pretty label on it, right? They put this veneer over top about belonging and all the things that, yes, we all agree that those are important. But then when you pull back the veneer, you see that contracting and subcontracting opportunities are going to be taken away. So that means if you talk about the racial wealth gap in this country, but you're allowing corporations to say that we are no longer going to give consideration to the businesses that have often been disinvested in, then I don't know how serious you actually are about trying to make real change happen. It almost seems like someone has to die. When our dear brother George Floyd, had that lynching that happened in front of America and it was caught on camera, then everybody got, and they kind of got motivated there for a moment, and they were willing to do things and stand up and push back and march and show up. And then it began to fade away. And the other folks who've had these long-term strategic plans about how they were going to snatch power, because they've watched what happened in South Africa with apartheidism, and they watched these other countries, how folks have been able to institute things to actually institutionalize racism, to institutionalize poverty. They know what they need to do. But yet we still sit back like they're not going to take it as far as they are. They even put Project 2025 in front of your face, and people didn't even take that serious. And now here in a few weeks, you're going to see how real it really is. So this is just another piece of the puzzle that they're putting together to weaken you, not just in this moment, but they're looking at decades to come, because they understand what happens with the browning of America. It's in your book. Other folks have talked about it as well. And that's where we are right now. And that's why I get frustrated, but at the same time, my frustration is because I know we have power. My grandmother says you have power unless you give it away, and I watch us give our power away every day. They continue to destabilize. They continue to just take these pieces away, and people just busy twerking, busy worrying about what the reality shows are doing, worried about, and don't get me wrong, I was an athlete, what my team just did. And the reality of what's really going on in this moment that will impact your children's children, you continue to stay silent. So if you're going to stay silent, then you get what you get.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, folks, going to go to break. We come back. Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, they addressed more than 1.5 million grassroots supporters today. We're going to show you the video of both of them right here on the Black Star Network. Support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. You want to give you a cash app, use this QR code from Stripe. Also, you can send your check and money order, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037-0196. PayPal is R. Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Back in a moment.
Coming soon to the Black Star Network.
I had been trying to get a record deal for a long time. When I finally got signed to the Motown record label in 2003, I was 34, 35 years old. And up until that time, I had been trying to get record deals the traditional way. You record your demo, you record your music, and you send it, to the record labels, or maybe a friend of a friend knows somebody that works for, the record label. And really, chemistry was my last ditch effort at being in the music business.
How long have you been trying?
I've been trying since I was a teenager. Wow. And I'm grateful that it didn't. I'm grateful that it happened when it happened, because I wasn't prepared you know, as a teenager to embrace all that comes with a career in the music industry.
Look, Fanbase is more than a platform. It's a movement to empower creators, offering a unique opportunity for everyday people to invest in Black-owned tech, infrastructure, and help shape the future of social media. Investing in technology is essential for creating long-term wealth and influence in the digital age. The Black community must not only consume tech, we must own it.
Discover how equity crowdfunding can serve as a powerful tool for funding Black businesses, allowing entrepreneurs to raise capital directly through their community through the Jobs Act.
Hi, I'm Jo Marie Payton, voice of Sugar Mama on Disney's Louder and Prouder Disney Plus, and I'm with Roland Martin on Unfiltered.
North Carolina HBCU is cutting half of its employees to reduce expenses by about $17 million. St. Augustine's University is eliminating 67 staff positions, and some programs will be discontinued. In addition to cutting staff positions, the university plans to terminate 37 full-time faculty jobs and 32 adjunct faculty roles and discontinue certain under-enrolled programs. Over the last year, SAU has had to take substantial measures to stay afloat financially, including taking out a $7 million loan from Gothic Ventures to repay several of its debts. The loan terms include a 26% interest rate, and the school could lose property if it defaults. A 26% interest rate? Geez, that's like a damn loan shark. These cuts are an effort to reinstate the university's accreditation before a meeting with the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission in December. Well, folks, today, Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz held a video chat with more than 1 million of their supporters. This is the first time the two of them have addressed their supporters since she conceded the election. Here's what both of them had to say in this live stream that took place about 4 hours ago.
Good afternoon, everyone. To everyone who's on the call, I can't express my deep gratitude to you. Personally, of being on this ticket was the privilege of a lifetime to be with Vice President Harris. But as an American, to see you out there and to see the work that you did, to know that you put your heart, your soul, your time, your talent, your treasure into something bigger than yourselves, the promise of this country, a place where everyone belongs, where no one needs to go hungry or be unsheltered, and where differences of opinion can be celebrated and differences of ideas. And you put that out there and you worked hard for it. And for that, I am forever grateful. I also recognize the emotions you're going through. And I share those with you. As the Vice President often says, we weren't running against something, we were running for something. And to watch the joy, the vision, the compassion, the decency that the Vice President brought to this, and that each and every one of you reflected every place we went, the caring and the sense of joy. I know it's incredibly disappointing now, and look, candidly, it's a bit scary because there's a very different vision that's being put out there. But now more than ever, we need the light to shine through. We need to be able to be that hope for the neighbor who's really wondering. We need to be that anchor for the folks who are wondering what's next. And each of you did the work. You took time out of your busy lives and you continued to do it. And it makes a difference. On the campaign trail, I would ask, there will be a day of reckoning when it will be asked, what did you do during the 2024 campaign? Well, I know the people on this call can say everything they possibly could. And for that, as an American, I'm incredibly grateful. And I mentioned that just yesterday, the product of the things the Vice President fought for and the things that she got done. We had the final pot of money from the American Rescue Plan that we were able to put $5 million here in Minnesota into food assistance for hungry families during this holiday season. That's the type of stuff you are fighting for. That's the type of things that make a difference. And those things are just as important now as they were before Election Day. And so I hope all of you take care of yourselves, take care of your families, find the place in your community to heal both yourselves and your community. And then when you're ready to get back in this fight, because it continues on. And I know that I've said it often on the campaign trail, I'm preaching to the choir. I couldn't be prouder to be with a choir that's on this call. You did everything that was asked. I also would have to say, I think all of us saw the possibility. And I know there's a bit of a feeling of loss because we saw what a real leader looks like. We watched a speech on the ellipse the week before the election where Vice President Harris delivered on the best of America. She delivered the best of our better angels. She delivered a vision where all of us mattered. She did it with grace and dignity and continued to do that every single day. She is still in this fight. She is doing it every single day. She is not done with her current job, and she's not done being part of it with all of you. And as I said, personally, it was a privilege to be on this ticket. It was a personal privilege to be able to become friends with an incredible leader, which someone who was willing to take on some of the toughest fights and continues to do so. And I would just ask all of you to join me in welcoming our Vice President, Kamala Harris.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you. Back at you, brother. You are such an extraordinary leader, and we have become lifelong friends. I just, in front of everyone, I want to thank you, Tim. You lead with courage. You lead with heart. You see the people. You care about the people. You believe in uplifting the dignity to which all people are entitled, and you do it and you have a sense of fun when you're doing it. But you are an extraordinary leader, and obviously the people of Minnesota are very, very lucky to have you there. But you are a national leader and a dear friend, and thank you. Noel, thank you for your work in Pennsylvania and all that you did for our campaign. And let me just say to everyone on this call, I am so grateful for you, and I'm so thankful to you. I'm thankful for your love of our country and your willingness to put the work into it. I'm thankful for the faith that you put in me and Governor Walz and our team. And I am thankful because I know your character is such that you're not going to get knocked down. And you're in this fight. And you're in it for all the right reasons. And I know that about you. It's why you're part of this call right now and all the work that you did over those 107 days and even before. That's your nature. And the outcome of this election obviously is not what we wanted. It is not what we worked so hard for. But I am proud of the race we ran. And your role in this was critical. What we did in 107 days was unprecedented. Think about the coalition that we built, and we were so intentional about that. You would hear me talk about it all the time. Being a daughter of parents who are active in the civil rights movement, I know and believe that the best movements that are about progress in our country mean that it's leaders that we are dedicated to the coalition, to bringing people together that seemingly have nothing in common, but have everything in common. A coalition where we bring people together based on a deep love of our country and our understanding that the strength of our country will be a function of our willingness to put in the work, and that we will do that work with a sense of joy, yes, with a sense of work ethic and understanding it's going to be hard, but it's good work. It's good work. To be engaged in a collective fight for America's future. And it means so much to me and to Governor Walz that you knocked on doors, you called friends, you called in favors. You said, hey, I showed up at your softball game. Now I need you to show up at the campaign office. You put in the time. It was personal for you. And you gave all that you could to support our campaign. Because of your efforts, get this, we raised an historic $1.4 billion, almost $1.5 billion from grassroots supporters alone, the most in presidential campaign history. Nearly 8 million donors contributed an average donation of about $56 to fuel our people-powered campaign. And understand that the work that we did included the work that so many of you here did, which is to talk to first-time voters. Many of you are first-time voters. And to talk about how being involved can make a difference. And that remains true. And that's one of the pieces that I just want us to please take away, that our fight for freedom and for opportunity and for the promise of America, it included, for example, nearly almost 4 million first-time contributors to our campaign because of the work you did of helping people know that they can be engaged and that they're not outside, that they're inside, that we're all in this together. And that work continues. The work must continue of reminding ourselves that we have an ability to stay engaged in a way that will make a difference. The work that you all did, it's going to have lasting effect. Again, I'll say, the election didn't turn out like we wanted it to. Certainly not as we planned for it to. But understand that the work we put into it was about empowering people. That's the spirit with the work we did. Our spirit and our work was about saying that it is a strength that we each have to lift people up, as opposed to beating people down. It is the strength we have that has lasting effect. So all that work that you did that was about engaging with other people, engaging with perfect strangers and in their face seeing a neighbor, that has lasting effect. It reminds people that there are leaders like you who care and will bring us together. And sometimes in the darkest moments, people lose faith in that. Are there people out there that feel that way? And you reminded people that yes, there are. And there are a lot of us. And that strength cannot be taken from us. That is our strength. It cannot be taken from us. So listen, as I said the day after the election, I still strongly believe the light of America's promise will burn bright as long as we never give up and we keep fighting. And the fight that fueled our campaign, a fight for freedom and opportunity, that did not end on November 5th. A fight for the dignity of all people, that did not end on November 5th. A fight for the future, a future in which all people receive the promise of America? No. A fight that is about a fight for the ideals of our nation, the ideals that reflect the promise of America, that fight's not over. So look, we still have a lot to fight for, okay? A future where every American can pursue their dreams, ambitions, and aspirations, where the women of America have the right to make decisions about their own body, not their government telling them what to do. Our fight for the rule of law, for freedom for all, for equal justice, for the sacred principle that everyone, no matter where they start out, has certain fundamental rights and freedoms that must be upheld. That's not over. That fight's still in us, and it burns strong. And I know this is an uncertain time. I'm clear-eyed about that. I know you're clear-eyed about it. And it feels heavy. And I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did. And you have the same ability to engage and inspire. So don't ever let anybody or any circumstance take your power from you. Look, this mission that we have, it takes hard work. But as you've heard me say many times, we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work can be joyful work. And in doing our work, we will remain committed and intentional about building community, building coalitions, reminding people that we all have so much more in common than what separates us. We will be armed with the faith and the fuel that tells us what is possible and then drives us to achieve it. So let's continue to organize and mobilize and stay engaged. And I thank you all. I thank you all. We are all in this together, all right? We are all in this together. And on this practical eve of Thanksgiving, I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving with the ability and to find the ability at this moment to just remember there is so much to be thankful for. And so I wish for you that you are surrounded by the people you love and who love you. As you know, I encourage you to be around family in whatever way you compose that family, but to take a moment and just reflect on all the good you have done and all the good you have yet to do. We are powerful, those of us who love our country, and we got a lot of work to do. And with that, I will hand it over to Noel. Thank you all, and happy Thanksgiving from Doug and me and our family.
All right, let's go to our panel here. Mustafa, we've seen some reports where the vice president is potentially talking about another run in 2028, potentially running for governor of California next year. That's also being discussed. And the other thing is, or the creation of her own organization, which will allow her to continue to advocate on issues, also champion folks who she wants to run for office. Your thoughts on what the next step should be for Vice President Kamala Harris?
Well, I think that those things are all incredibly important. So I appreciate the words that they shared. But if we remember, after Donald Trump lost, one of the first things that they put together was that America First Policy Institute, which was the think tank, right? And now you see a number of folks who are part of that, who are part of his administration. So you got to get serious. You got to have your strategy, and you got to put these entities in place where you can begin to actually get other folks who are going to be able to run for office, and also begin to give people hope that you're still focused and still serious about making change happen. So, folks got to figure out how to do it, but you got to get the game going. The other part that I think would have been important to hear is also reminding people that the midterms is not that far away. We'll be moving back into another cycle here real quick. So I love the fact that, if the vice president's going to run for governor, that's great. But we've got to be thinking about all of these, both federal races, but what's going on in the state and the county and the local level in the midterms that are coming up. So for me, those are the things that you focus on if you're serious about getting us back on track.
Absolutely. I think also, looking at what did not work, exactly what went on. The General Manley Dillon, David Plus, Stephanie Cutter, Quentin Folks, they went on Pod Save America, Randy, where they talked for an hour and a half about the campaign. Frankly, I listened to about 30 minutes of it, and all it did was piss me off because I frankly heard a bunch of bullshit, a bunch of excuses, and frankly, I heard crap from 4 people who completely missed it. They're whining, complaining, talking about how the media, like they learn. Just turn the audio up. Listen to this.
We women don't get far in life talking about double standards, so that's not the point. But I do think a narrative, 107 days, 2 weeks fucked up because of a hurricane, 2 weeks talking about how she didn't do interviews, which, she was doing plenty, but we were doing in our own way. We had to, be the nominee, had to find a running mate and do a rollout. I mean, there was all these things that you kind of want to factor in, but real people heard in some way that we were not going to have interviews, which was both not true and also so counter to any kind of standard that was put on Trump that I think that was a problem. And then on top of that, we would do an interview, and to Stephanie's point, the questions were small and processy and about like...
First of all that is just bullshit, Randy, because the fact of the matter is, after the debate, there was a prolonged period where they were not doing interviews. And guess what? They should have had Tim Walz out there doing the interviews. He should have been out there all over media. That's what J.D. Vance was doing. No, they didn't do that. He damn near was in hiding, okay? They bullshitted around her coming on our show. Then they wanted to cut my time, and I cussed them out because I was already on the ground in North Carolina. I said, y'all ain't cutting shit, okay? And then we got it, and so we had policy questions. We got 30 minutes. Okay, after I saw her doing all these other damn interviews, and let's be real clear, it was Jen O'Malley Dillon and it was Stephanie Cutter who was taking forever, and it was a number of people. There was a staff meeting the Sunday before she was in Greenville where they all were like, yo, when the hell y'all gonna do the interview with Roland Martin? They had gotten beaten up so bad they finally had to do it. They didn't want to do it, okay? So I'm listening to this bullshit, so I know what happened. I know the conversations I was happening. They made some serious blunders. And so I think what should happen, the vice president really should do her own analysis. And guess what? I've traveled around the country. I've talked to people who talked about how things were screwed up in Georgia when it came to surrogates and ground game. You know what? She should be doing listening sessions as well and not just taking the four of them, their word for what actually happened.
Right. One,
because they're playing cover your ass.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. We really don't have time for them to whine and defend why they did certain things, wrong or right. That's not going to get us anywhere. I mean, even the statement that because Harris is a woman and Trump is a man, that they were of different ask. Well, we know that, right? We're not going to change that. So what do you do in order to fix that? How do you compensate for that? If she has to do more, she has to do more. That's not a new concept for us. Black people have always known that we've had to work harder to get less. Next, I agree with you that I like that she is keeping in contact with the people who are keeping her hands into and fingers onto the people that are her advocates. She needs to ensure that she's talking to all of them. And by that, we talk about looking at these micro audiences and paying attention to the people that did not feel like they were touched or did not feel a connection to her. She needs to look at where the failures were, listen to people, not these people that are sitting around with their, jobs and, their cushy jobs and coming from the same perspective, but get those diverse perspectives out there and deal with it this coming up.
Joe?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole crap load of people already running for governor. You got Tony Thurmond, you got 3 or 4 people that are in the administration or in executive jobs.
But the reality is she'll clear the field.
Yeah, maybe, on some level.
She would.
But even at that, if you're talking about having a long-term impact, the best impact, to my mind, I'd say you create some kind of organization, because you create the organization, you stand it up. There's nothing to say you couldn't run for office later. There's nothing to say that you couldn't take the right position and step into it. If you're talking about legacy, if you're talking about long-term, figure out a problem to solve and solve it. Even with governor, you can only do that for some, certain period of time. And then if you lose, then, where are you with that? Maybe she would be fine. Maybe she would win. She would clear the field. But if she's talking about long term, I like the idea of her creating some kind of organization and for her finding out from the people, directly from the people, what happened. Find out for herself so that she knows how to apply that to the future lessons, because it wasn't long ago. This is the best campaign she'd run. She ran a great campaign. It was just super short. 4 years ago, it wasn't so good. So if she doesn't figure that out 4 years from now, if she ran for president again, she could make that same mistake. Even California's demographic is changing somewhat. So create an organization, stay in the cut, find out what you can directly about what happened, so that if you tip back into that space, then you're going to be right-headed.
All right, folks, hold tight 1 second. We come back. Let's talk about black skin. A sister has launched a new product line we want to talk about. A lot of y'all getting ready for Black Friday. If y'all going to spend money on Black Friday, spend it with black people. How about that? You're watching the Black Star Network. Back in a moment.
Hi, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Fanbase is a free to download, free to use, next generation social media platform that allows anyone to have followers and subscribers on the same page. Fanbase was built through investment dollars from equity crowdfunding from the Jobs Act. People just like you helped build Fanbase, and we're looking for more people to help build Fanbase. We are currently raising $17 million in a Regulation A crowdfund on Start Engine. We've already crossed $2.1 million, but we're looking to raise more capital from people just like you that deserve the opportunity to invest in early stage startups without having to be accredited investors. So right now, I'd like you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase right now, today. And then use Fanbase to connect with friends, grow your audience, and be you without limits.
Coming soon to the Black Star Network.
I had been trying to get a record deal for a long time. You know, when I finally got signed to the Motown record label in 2003, I was 34, 35 years old. And up until that time, I had been trying to get record deals the traditional way. You know, you record your demo, you record your music, and you send it, you know, to the record labels, or maybe somebody, a friend of a friend, knows somebody that works for, you know, the record label. And really, chemistry that was my last ditch effort at being in the music business.
How long have you been trying?
I've been trying since I was a teenager. Wow. You know? And you know, and I'm grateful that it didn't. I'm grateful that it happened when it happened, because I wasn't prepared, you know, as a teenager to embrace all that comes with a career in the music industry.
This is Reggie Rock Byford. You're watching
Roland Martin, unfiltered, uncut, unplugged, and undamn believable. You hear me?
All right, folks, Black Friday is, well, on Friday. And so, you know, we, with this segment, Marketplace, we support Black-owned businesses. And so, winter is here. Well, you really can't tell with climate change, because it still feels like spring. But how we treat our skin is critically important. There's a lot of stuff out there that's not necessarily designed to actually help us as people who are a bit melanated. My next guest, her company really deals with this, and so she has launched a line of products. Dr. Ganesha Noseworthy. I guess I was gonna mess with you on that one. So, you know, you like, no. She's the CEO and founder of Glow by Glenn Facial Optimization. And so she's here to tell us about, again, this product line. So what's happening?
Hello, how are you?
Great. So how long were you working on this?
A little over 2 years, so
Really?
It's been a good bit of while. Yeah, working on it, perfecting my craft.
Okay, all right then. So you're based in New York City, and
Yes.
so you're an actual doctor. So explain that in terms of your medical expertise.
So I am an internal medicine physician. I practice integrative aesthetics. I'm also known as a beauty hacker, and my beauty philosophy emphasizes how internal health affects external beauty.
Okay, so again, explain that.
Yes.
Because there are all types of doctors, and the one thing a lot of people don't do is they really don't focus on their skin, which is kind of important.
It's very important because the skin is the largest organ of the body, and the skin reflects what's happening internally. So whether you have different medical conditions like diabetes or hypo or hyperthyroidism or hormone imbalance, women, as you go through different periods of your life and you have changes in your hormone levels, your hair, your skin, your nails, those things are all changing. So The skin being the largest organ of the body, it is reflecting a lot of what's happening internally, so it's very important.
All right, so a lot of black folks also assume that we don't have to use sunscreen when we go outside. There's also this assumption that, well, if we're going to be out there for a prolonged period of time, then we can use sunscreen. And when you and I were talking in New York, you said a lot of these sunscreen products ain't good for us.
So
explain.
It's not that sunscreen isn't, a lot of them aren't good for us. It's really that there's different types of sunscreens. There's chemical and mineral. Chemical sunscreens work by absorbing the UVA and UVB rays and turning it into heat, where mineral sunscreens actually bounce the UVA and UVB rays off of the skin. And the problem is that, you know, you want to try to avoid chemical as much as possible. Mineral tends to be better because it's a safer product. It's made from things that are natural to the earth, which are minerals. And with mineral sunscreens, there typically aren't a lot of brands or companies that we can apply to melanin-rich skin without leaving a white cast. So for example, I have patients who have different autoimmune conditions, and autoimmune conditions are most prevalent amongst women of color, especially.
Things like lupus.
Exactly,
Okay.
yes. So lupus specifically, I can talk about a patient that I have that has lupus, and she cannot go out, whether it's summer, winter, spring, or fall, without applying liberal sunscreen, specifically mineral. And I was tired of seeing her with a white cast because we're melanin rich and we need to show off our beautiful skin. So when you're using mineral sunscreen and it's leaving,
we need to be glowing.
We need to glow.
So I take it, hence glow.
Yes.
Got it, all right.
So my mineral sunscreen specifically, it has 25% mineral oxide, which is one of the highest percentages of zinc that you're gonna get on the market, and it does not leave a white cast. So you can apply several layers and you still get to see your melanin-rich, beautiful skin.
Okay, all right, so let's walk us through this here, the product line here. What you got?
Yes. So this is a medical grade skincare line. There are patented—
How many different products?
12 products in total. I have 11 here today. There's patented technology that allows for deeper, more efficient penetration of the active ingredients. That's really important because you're getting the value for the product that you're using versus using a certain ingredient, let's say a hyaluronic acid that you purchase from a typical beauty supply store and you're using it for a month to see the benefit. With my product line, because of the patented technology and the high percentages of the active ingredients, you're seeing an immediate improvement in your skin. So we'll start with the cleanser. It is packed with antioxidants and botanicals. It is a gentle cleanser.
This one right here?
Yes.
Okay.
It's packed with antioxidants and botanicals. It does not dry out the skin. You can use it to remove makeup. It's not going to make you feel stripped. And then you can follow up.
So whatever you're a dude and you don't wear makeup.
You can use it either whether you're using makeup or not using makeup. So I typically do not use traditional makeup wipes. I just don't like how it feels. So I will just use the cleanser and I'll double cleanse, use a cloth and remove my makeup.
Okay.
And it cleans the skin perfectly well without overstripping or drying the skin.
All right, next.
Then next is the antioxidant mist, the Glow Green Tea Antioxidant Mist, which also is packed with antioxidants and botanicals. You can use it as a toner, or you can use it as a refreshing mist. And the thing that I love about that product is that it also has some added chamomile and lavender, so it feels like a 5-star luxury experience.
Yeah, you sprayed it, and I was kind of like, you were like, does it feel like you're at a spa?
Yes,
like,
it does. It's an amazing, I personally love that, that second step in my skincare routine. It's pampering yourself at home and still getting the added value and benefit.
All right.
And then the next product is my niacinamide. It is a 15% mixed molecular weight niacinamide. What I love about this product is that it's stronger than most niacinamides on the market. It's 15%, and because it's a mixed molecular weight, you have the smaller particles that actually get into the skin, and then the larger particles lock it in. This product in particular is great at brightening and evening the skin tone, and you apply it, and then it dries right away.
Okay.
I usually follow this up with L'Eclat, my Age Vitality Elixir. It's a powerhouse age-defying serum. It has green tea.
Age-defying serum.
It is an age-defying serum. The things in this formulation that is wonderful that has anti-aging benefits is the antioxidants for one. So this has 20% vitamin C, which is also one of the highest percentages that you're going to get on the market. But because it's such a high percentage, one thing you may wonder is, oh, is it going to cause irritation or sensitivity? No, it doesn't actually, because it has green tea polyphenols and ergothioneine. And those two ingredients have a lot of anti-inflammatory and antioxidant benefits. So although you have such a powerful ingredient such as 20% vitamin C and vitamin E, you have these other wonderful buffering anti-inflammatory benefits and properties that are also going to help to increase the glow and radiance of the skin. Because the antioxidants are so strong, and you're going to use this primarily during the day, and it's going to help to decrease the amount of damage that you're going to get from UVA and UVB rays. When my patients ask me, Dr. Glenn, what is it that really brings out the glow in your skin? It's Le Clos. If I had to pick one thing here, it's definitely this serum.
Now, are you using these every single day, or for some a few times a week, not daily? So.
Yeah, so there's a good majority of them that I use every day. So the first two,
How long take you to go through all this?
Not long, because the products absorb very quickly. Where some serums tend to sit
It's like
on the
a
skin.
whole lot to
I
go
know,
through.
but hear me out.
10, 15 minutes?
Maybe 5.
Oh, okay, all
Maybe
right,
5,
okay.
yeah. But hear me out. Before creating my product line, I used to feel like my products would just sit on my skin. I am very particular with texture, feel, and efficacy. It was really important for me to create a product line that not only looked good, felt good, smelled good naturally without artificial fragrances, but works. That was very important. So what was really important to me is that it absorbs quickly, absorbs well, doesn't leave a cast or film. I have 3 or 4 of these products under my makeup right now. And it applies quickly, it applies smoothly, it absorbs really well, and it feels good. So yes, I use about 5 products in the morning and at night, and then some of them I alternate. I'll move on to the next product, so I'll explain a little bit more about what products I alternate. So the next thing that I use is the Clarté Phytocorrector. So this calms, soothes, and repairs the skin. It has chlorophyll and cannabis in it, in addition to hyaluronic acid.
Trying to get folks high?
No, but cannabis has wonderful healing properties. And it's great. It has great anti-inflammatory benefits. And me being a Caribbean woman, you know, I appreciate, from Jamaica.
Man.
Both parents are from Jamaica. I appreciate the healing properties of cannabis, especially in the medical field as a physician. So this product is really great for people who have...
No cannabis in there.
This product is really great for people who have eczema,
and of course
rosacea.
it's green.
It's green, yeah, and it's a natural green. It comes from the actual beautiful color of the plant, so you see the real benefits.
All right.
So I use those 3 in the morning, and then at night, I alternate between these last 2 products. So the serums are really the powerhouse of the line. You have your cleanser, your toner, your moisturizers, your sunblock, but the serums are really the workhorses, so I really stress the use of those. But these last 2 products are the Glow Lactic Elixir, which is a lactic acid that has peptides, a very special formulated peptide complex. So lactic acid is great for exfoliating the skin. It's a gentle exfoliation. What I specifically love about that product is that even if you have sensitive skin, such as someone with eczema or psoriasis, you can still use this lactic acid 2 to 3 nights a week. And when I use it, it makes my skin feel velvety soft. It's the truth.
Okay.
And then I alternate that with my retinol and bakuchiol. Retinol is a very important ingredient and very important in skincare. It is one of the only medical grade ingredients that is scientifically proven to have anti-aging benefits, specifically increasing collagen and elastin production. This retinol, although you can purchase it without a prescription, it is equivalent to a prescribed retinol. So I have two compositions, composition 1 and 2, and they're equivalent to a 0.025% retinol or a 0.05 retinol. And what makes this retinol very special compared to some other products is that it is mixed with bakuchiol. Bakuchiol comes from a seed, and it is a nice buffer for retinol. So for people who have sensitive skin or they've had sensitivity or irritation with traditional retinol, this is a great alternative because you have all of the added soothing properties of bakuchiol.
So you have like a sheet that explains, take this, then this, then this, then this, then this, or do you have it all memorized?
Well, I mean, obviously, if I made it, I have it memorized, but on my website, glowbyglenskin.com, that will go live on Friday, Black Friday, we'll have more detailed description as to the order of steps to use the products, which products go in what category, depending on what your skin health goals are. So we make it as simple for you as possible.
All right, well, I'm gonna start with Joe, because Joe is watching and he's like, I really need that serum. I can tell Joe really wants to focus on his skin game. I can see it all. You just been waiting to ask a question, Joe.
That was actually where I was going in terms of, tell me how the fellas fit into all of this, because we should all be working on our skin. Strategically, is there anything that gentlemen would do differently? What do you recommend? And for those of us who really have to take these things in very, very small steps, because, if you're not used to putting nothing on, you're not going to graduate to putting 9 things on or 5 or 6 things on.
Joe, I told her that when I stopped by her office in New York. She's like, so what do you use? I said, wash the head. If the soap just run down my face, we good. I said, my parents gave me good DNA, so I ain't never had skin issues. Unlike a lot of brothers, I never had the ingrown hair under my neck. I never had acne. I've never had any of that stuff. So yes, praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. But to Joe's point, yes, there are men who are watching who are like, yo, man, that sounds like stuff for women. But your point is no, men should be understanding that their skin matters too.
Absolutely. I mean, as I mentioned, skin is the largest organ of the body. Men have skin. Women have skin. We all have skin, so we all need to take care of it. So to keep it very simple, especially for my male patients, I typically go with 3 to 4 products. And the 3 products that I tend to recommend is starting with my Gentle Glow Green Tea Antioxidant Clarifier, which is the cleanser. You use that morning and night. The second product that I recommend, Licla. This is going to give you a lot of the anti-aging benefits. It's going to help with hydrating the skin, and it's also going to help to increase the glow and radiance and vibrance of the skin. So this is the second product I recommend. And then lastly, just a simple moisturizer. So the Brillo Aloe Hydrator, this is lightweight and sheer. It doesn't feel like you have anything on the skin. It hydrates really well. You can use it morning and night. And that's your 3-step routine. It's simple. It's going to have a lot of anti-aging and benefits. It's going to hydrate and improve the glow and radiance of the skin. If you want to take it one step further, which I highly recommend.
Oh yeah, Joe wants to take it one step further. Yes, he does.
Just a mineral-based sunscreen. This mineral-based sunscreen is the sunscreen that I was talking about. The zinc oxide will settle to the bottom because it's such a natural ingredient, and it's real mineral, so it sits at the bottom. You just shake it until you hear the agitator beads rocking back and forth. You use 3 to 4 drops. You spread it throughout. You disperse it throughout the entire surface area of your skin, one thin layer. You can reapply it every few hours, but it doesn't leave that dreaded white cast.
All right, Randy. I know she's been waiting to ask a question. Randy? Because look, Randy might be light-skinned, but she's super black.
Okay.
She do all black stuff. She go to black restaurants. She drink wine from black companies.
Okay.
So
you said wine?
She black. Oh, she black. So
okay.
Randy, if you need any questions about where to buy some black stuff, just hit Randy up. Randy, go ahead with your question, Randy.
Oh, absolutely. I want to hear about this a sister's product, of course. And you see why? Because she understands our skin and the special needs that we may have. So
Yeah, because about 90% of people ain't know what the hell she just talked about. She used words they ain't got no idea. But go on right ahead, Randy. What's your question?
but even about the sunscreen and how we need something different. I'll say this, even, it does create this cast when you use a sunscreen that is not made for our skin. Do you have plans to create a sunscreen that's for all over the body? I'm one who likes to travel a lot, and I need something everywhere. So
her ass always at the beach.
Well, you just gave me a great idea. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. It's 10%.
That wouldn't be hard for me to do, and I'm going to do that especially for you.
All right. Well, thank you.
All right.
You're welcome.
Mustafa.
Yeah, well, congratulations. Moving into this billion-dollar industry,
Thank you.
it's often hard to separate yourself.
Thank you.
How do you, what's the pitch that you use to make sure that folks understand how unique your product is?
It's really about beauty from the inside out. My product line really just enhances your purest form of beauty. And because the skin is the largest organ of the body, you really want to have that internal approach. So having highly effective, medical grade ingredients that's really going to work in a short period of time. Nobody likes to wait for long-term results. People want to see improvements in their skin over a short period of time. So my patients, when they start to use the product line, within 24 to 48 hours, they're waking up and they're already seeing an improvement in the glow and radiance of their skin. The skin is like a plant. You water it, you give it a little bit of a natural fertilizer, and you watch it grow and flourish. So long story short, my product line helps to just enhance your purest form of beauty.
And again, so, because someone sent me a text, they were like, what, 5 different products? But your point is
you don't have to use all of them.
Your point is they're serving different purposes.
Exactly. So I created the line to really serve all of the basic concerns, skin concerns that people have. Whether you're looking to brighten and even out your skin tone, because that is a major concern, especially that women of color come to me about. They have uneven hyperpigmentation, maybe from melasma after having children or from acne scars, and they're looking to brighten and even their skin tone. So if you're looking for that, then I have 1 or 2 products specifically for that.
Because I was joking with you when I went by your office, I was joking with you because I play lots of golf.
Yeah.
And as a result, there literally is, like, I
a line of
see all the time, like there's a line like right here.
Yeah.
I'm always wearing baseball caps.
Yes.
Where it's like right here, it's all much darker than right above. And you were like, hey, this is what can be done to even that out. Like anybody watching right now could actually see it right here because I wear it because I'm always on the golf course and I'm wearing baseball caps.
So specifically for that concern, we want to use non-prescription based skin brightening agents, so that way you can use it for a long period of time without worrying about any side effects from prescriptions.
Okay, not skin bleaching.
No, it's not skin bleaching, but it would be my skin brightening pads that has kojic acid, bearberry, and other natural botanical ingredients that help to brighten and even skin tone, and sunscreen. That's it. These are the 2 ingredients that I would say to help even out your skin tone and protect it from further hyperpigmentation.
All right. Last round. Any other questions from panelists? Joe, Randy, and Mustafa. You got a second question?
Well, I think a question that you always have to ask when there are new products that are coming out. For many of the others, there's testing that's done. Some used to do animal testing. Others have now moved forward with that. Can you talk about, in the development of your products, how you got to where you are and what's a part of that process?
Mustafa used to work at the Environmental Protection Agency,
Okay.
so he's Mr. Environment. Go right ahead.
So these products have not been tested on animals, and the products are also FDA approved, and the different patented technology and the formulas have been published in the JDD, the Journal of Drugs and Dermatology.
All right. That means she got her shit together. All right, y'all. So the website goes live on Friday. So let's pull up, if y'all want more information on Glow by Glenn. So here you're right there, Facebook, Glow by Glenn. Email is hello@globyglen.com. Instagram, follow her at Glow by Glenn, GLOBYGLEN. And you said the website goes live on
Friday, 9 a.m.
Okay, what's the website?
Glow by Glenn Skin.
Okay, so we don't have it up there, So pull it back up, the graphic back up. Your website is glowbyglenmd.com for your practice.
Yes.
But again, so the website for folks to get products is
glowbyglenskin.com.
glowbyglenskin.com. Do we have a promo code or anything? We have anything? What do we have? All right, y'all tell me later.
There's going to be a Black Friday sale website-wide on Friday. No promo code needed.
Okay, all right, so because a lot of times folks have one just for our folks.
Oh.
But that's cool. So glowbyglenskin.com, and it goes live at 9 a.m. on Friday.
Correct.
All right, Doc, well, appreciate it.
Of course, it was a pleasure having me.
All right, thanks a bunch.
All right, you're welcome.
Let me thank Joe, Randy, and Mustafa for being on today's show. Thank you so very much. But hey, before I do go, pull up the video. Y'all know when we had Will Downing on the show, I know a lot of y'all getting ready for Thanksgiving. A bunch of y'all cannot cook. Real quick, Joe, are you cooking or are you eating? What are you doing?
Actually, I'm gonna do some cooking. I'm gonna go a little off the thing a little bit.
What your ass cooking?
I'm gonna do a pork roast. I'm kind of regular with mine. I'm gonna do a pork roast. We're gonna hop together some sides, and then that's gonna be low key though, just me and the wife.
Okay, Randy, what you doing?
I'm actually only having to cook pie, so I'm cooking a chocolate bourbon pecan pie and a sweet potato pie.
Yeah, shit, no, you have alcohol in your pie. Mustafa, what you doing?
I'm eating my mama's food. That's what I'm doing.
Same thing. Listen. My brother's executive chef, my dad's a chef, so we doing something at their house tomorrow. My sister, we at their house on Thursday, and so my job. See, I try to tell everybody, stay in your lane. I could cook if I wanted to, but I don't need to when everybody else, that's what they do. And so my job is to make sure there's video, photos, that way you document the memories for folks to remember. So that's what my job is in the family group chat, because folks like, dang, I didn't realize you had those photos and videos. I'm like, because that's why I do what I do. All right, so some of y'all, if you can't cook, bring the ice, bring the plates, because some of y'all can't do anything else, but please, normally we have our rules. Do me a favor, if your ass cannot cook, please don't be trying to experiment with the dishes on the family. Eat that shit yourself, and don't make the rest of us eat it, because if it's awful, we're gonna cuss you out. Y'all got the video ready? When we had Will down, remember when Erica talking about how she cooked salad? Roll it. He promised his mama he was gonna do a gospel CD. He want to make sure you get it, so I want to let you know he did hand it to me.
Okay, well, you know what? It's my fault. I should have given it to you personally. Maybe what I'll do is I'll come by tomorrow, bring you an autograph copy along with some fried salad.
Bring your ass to my house with some fried salad. We gonna call the cops. We gonna call the cops.
Will.
Yeah, we gonna call. Yeah, Erica, he calling you out. He talking about you, Erica. Talking about
That's
cooking
right.
salad. Cooking
That's
salad.
right.
All right, Will, look, I can't let you go. Erica Savage literally talking about she gonna cook some salad. Oh, she ain't gonna leave that down ever. Ever, ever, ever. All right. That's it for us, y'all. We're not live tomorrow. Folks got the day off to be able to go get ready for Thanksgiving, spend time with the family. We are back live on Monday, and on Monday, we're going to be live from JFK Airport in New York City, where we will be, of course, working with the union, trying to unionize the Delta ramp workers. So we got a special show from New York City on Monday, that's 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern. So I will see you guys there. So again, I'm kicking with family, and I can't wait. I'll be in College Station on Saturday for the Texas A&M Texas game. So we're gonna kick some Longhorn ass. And Vince Young, yeah, we're gonna beat y'all down in College Station. So Vince Young is married to my cousin. And so it's a whole lot of friction between the Aggies and these black Longhorns. And they know the only time black and orange go together is Halloween. But that's how they work. All right, y'all. Support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. If you want to support us via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. It's right there. You can click Cash App, the pay button to contribute. You can also send your check and money order. I went to the mailbox today. It's about 40, 50 envelopes in there. So we'll get that handle, senior check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal, R. Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Download the Black Star Network app. Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Don't forget to also support us by getting a copy of my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds. Available at bookstores nationwide. Get the audio version on Audible. Yes, I did read it, so you can check that out. And of course, get your Roland Martin Unfiltered merchandise. You can go to RolandSMartin.com, BlackStarNetwork.com, or you can go to RolandMartin.creator-spring.com. And of course, our new shirt is "Don't Blame Me, I Voted for the Black Woman." So get y'all a shirt. What's up, Doc? Doc threw me a look. She's like, I know he did not. Yes, trust me, yes. Yeah, I'm going to be rocking that shirt for Thanksgiving. I'm going to wear it all around Texas for all them damn MAGA voting fools.
I'm going to wear it too.
Are you going to get one of those?
Yep.
Okay, all right, absolutely. And of course, y'all support, download the Fanbase app, as well as, of course, if you want to invest in the Fanbase, Black-owned social media app, you can do so. Go to startengine.com, Fanbase, startengine.com, Fanbase. Folks, that's it. Y'all have a fantastic Thanksgiving early. Matter of fact, let me go here. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Says we not going to be here. We're not going to be here. And so let me show the photo right now. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Where we at? Roku. Oh, Roku. 1 second. All right, y'all. So shout out my mama. My mama turned 77 years old on Saturday, November 30th. And so early happy birthday to mama. I'll see you. And you know you got to have my pineapple cream cheesecake baked. You know how this works, mama. The family get that one, but I get my own one. Just let you know how that's how.
Just let mama know that we have the same birthday.
Oh, really? All right, then. Well, Dr. Glenn, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And so we'll do that. But she already knows. She already on the clock. She got to have that cake ready. She be trying to get out of that cake. I'm like, they ain't happening. So you know the job you got to do. So go and get them damn ingredients and go and make sure that cake is ready when I get to Houston. We ain't trying to start no static. But she know.
I'm sure she's listening.
She know. Oh, she know. She know how I roll. All right, y'all, that's it. I'll see y'all on Monday. Have a fantastic Thanksgiving. Enjoy your family. And if any MAGA people want to come over, tell them they can't. Tell them go eat with Trump. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all on Monday. Holla! Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punch! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?